welcome back. This is lesson 8.4 journal, addition and subtraction equations. I will be able to solve addition and subtraction equations by using inverse operations. I will be able to show all of my steps and check my solution. I will be able to show all of my steps, sorry, that should say correctly. And check my solution. Alright, there is an equation song sung to the tune of Itsy Bitsy Spider. It goes like this. Identify the variable to solve the mystery. Okay, let's write that line first. Identify the variable to solve the mystery. So, when we have an equation, we have an unknown amount. We're trying to figure out what a variable is worth. Okay? Inverse operations will reverse its history. So, let's write that down. Inverse operations will reverse its history. Keep both sides equal by treating them both the same. Then check your solution to see if you win the game. Okay, I'll sing that one more time. Identify the variable to solve the mystery. Inverse operations will reverse its history. Keep both sides equal by treating them both the same. Then check your solution to see if you win the game. Alright, if you can remember that song, it will help you when you're solving equations. So, identify the variable. Tell me what the variable is. That's all I want. So first, what's your variable? In this case, b. Inverse operations will reverse its history. So, what's happening to b? They added 23. So, inverse operations. What is the inverse of this? It's subtraction. So we're going to subtract 23. That will undo adding 23. Now, keep both sides equal by treating them both the same. So if I minus 23 from this side, I have to also minus 23 from this side. Okay, let's do our work. 23 subtract 23 gives me 0. That's exactly what I wanted. I want it to go away. It's like it never happened. So, before they added it to b, what was b? So see how I have b only on this side because I would have had 0 plus b here. So, that's the whole purpose. I want it b by itself. That's a good sign. But I have to do it to this side as well. So 49 subtract 23. 9 minus 3 gives me 6. 4 minus 2 gives me 2. So I get 26 on this side and b by itself on that side. As soon as I have b by itself, I'm done. I'm happy. Yay. Now, when I say I'm done figuring out an answer. So this is my solution, but I'm not fully done. I need to make sure I am correct. So then check your solution to see if you win the game. How do we check? We take this and replace it in the original equation. So the original equation was 49 equals 23 plus b. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace b with what I think it's worth. I think it's worth 26. So I'm going to put 26 there. Do you see my equation just replacing it with my solution? Now, this is not very helpful for adding, so I'm just going to make it in columns over here. So 23 plus 26. 3 plus 6 is 9. 2 plus 2 is 4. So when I do this, I got 49. Now here's the key. This and this have to be exactly the same. If they're not, that tells you you probably did something wrong back here. Go back and check your answer. So 49 and 49 are exactly the same, so I'm going to put a check mark there. I know that my solution is correct. B is equal to 26. Okay, identify the variable to solve the mystery. Okay, my variable is h. Now, inverse operations will reverse its history. What do I need to do to get h by itself? Well, we minus 127. So how do I undo that? I'm going to do the opposite of adding, which is, or subtracting, which is adding. So if I add back the 127 things I took away, I get 0. It's like nothing happened. Instead of spending the 127, I got the $127 back. It's like nothing happened. That gives me h by itself. Now what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to add 127. Make sure you line up your place values right here. 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 1. So I got h on one side of the equation. I got 138 on the other side of the equation. So what I'm saying is before I spent $127 and had $11 left, I think I had $138. Let's check our answer. I'm replacing h with 138. So 138 subtract 127, and let's see if we get 11 for sure. Okay, this isn't very useful. I'm going to stack it. Line up the place values. 8 minus 7 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. I am left with 11. So this right here gave me 11. Does that match this? Yes, it does. Check. I know that h is equal to 138. Okay, let's try this one. M plus 1.8 equals 2.3. Okay, decimals, fractions, it doesn't matter. We follow the same exact process. Identify the variable to solve the mystery. Okay, my variable is m. Great, now what happened to m? They added 1.8, or 1 and 8 tenths. How do I undo that? I use the inverse operation, which the inverse would be subtraction. So I'm going to be minusing 1.8. If I have 1.8, I take 1.8 away, I get 0. Congratulations, it's gone. I don't want it. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So keep both sides equal by treating them both the same. So I'm going to minus 1.8 from this side. 2.3 subtract 1.8. Have to borrow here. 13 minus 8 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 1. Don't forget the decimal. So I have m on this side of the equation. And I have 1.5 on this side of the equation. Great, I have my work, I have an answer, but I have not checked it. So check your solution to see if you win the game. So m plus 1.8 should equal 2.3. Let's see what we get. So I'm going to put 1.5 here. 1.5 plus 1.8. If I stack that, 1.5 plus 1.8, 5 plus 8 is 13. Regroup 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. I get 3.3. Oh, wait a minute. 2.3 and 3.3, are they equal? They're not. Okay. I did this on purpose. But this is why it's important to check your answer. You can't just assume you're always right. Where did I go wrong back here? I know I went wrong because this doesn't add up. This is not equal to this. Where did I go wrong back here? 13 minus 8 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. Oh, this is why we check our answers. We make mistakes all the time. You'll know if you're wrong, because when you go to check it, it won't work. So 1.5 is not the solution. M should be equal to 0.5. Well, same thing. I'm going to check my answer. This one didn't work. So let's try the new one. 0.5 plus 1.8 should give me 2.3. Stack it just to make sure. 5 plus 8 is 13. Regroup 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 1 more is 2. Don't forget the decimal. 2.3 does match 2.3. Check. Okay. That's why we check our answers. I still make mistakes like that on accident. So, if you check your answer, you know that you're correct. So, what do we know? We know that m is equal to 0.5 because we proved it by plugging it back in and making sure it worked. Okay, let's try this next one. 2/3 plus w equals 1 1/6. Okay, first of all, find your variable, w. What's happening to it? We're adding 2/3. How do I undo adding 2/3? I'm going to subtract it. So if I subtract 2/3 from 2/3, I get 0. Hallelujah. It's gone. So that leaves me just w to worry about on that side. Now on this side, I have to take away 2/3. Okay, I know fractions aren't your favorite, but you still have to deal with them. When we add or subtract fractions, what must we have? Well, I personally don't like mixed numbers. I'm going to turn them both improper, and I also need a common denominator. So I'm going to find a common denominator of 3 and 6. Well, I can turn 3 into 6 easy, so I'm going to times this by 2, times this by 2. That's the same as 4, 6. Now I'm going to turn this improper just to make it easier for me. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So 7 6 is the same as 1 6. But now that I have common denominators, I can just subtract the numerator. So 7 minus 4 is going to give me 3 sixths. Well, 3 sixths simplifies to 1/2, so I am saying that w is worth 1/2. We can't be sure until we do what? We check our answer. So check your solution to see if you win the game. So I'm going to write 2/3 plus 1/2, and I'm going to see if I get 1 1/6. I need common denominators, so if I make them both over 6, times this by 2, times this by 2 gives me 4 sixths, times this by 3, times this by 3, I get 3 sixths. 4 plus 3 is 7, so I get 7 6 because that's my common denominator, and 6 goes into 7 one time, so I get 1 and 1 piece left over, so 1 1/6. Does that match what I got up here? Yes, it does. That tells me that w does in fact equal 1/2. Notice I circle it after I'm done. That's my sign that I've checked it. I know I'm right. Okay, let's try this next one. 1 48/100 equals k minus 1 6/10, or 0 6/10. Okay, identify the variable. K is my variable. What's happening to it? They minus 6/10. So I'm going to use inverse operations to reverse its history. So I'm going to reverse the minusing by adding. If I add it back, it's like nothing ever happened. That means I have to add back 0 6/10. Here, line up your decimals. You can put a 0 here if you like. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. Regroup 1. 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2. Decimal here. Okay, on this side, we got k plus 0, which is just the same as k. So I got k all by itself. On this side, I got 2.08. Let's prove that it is correct. So I take the original equation, 1.48 equals, now I'm replacing k with what I think it's worth, minus 0.6. Now I do my math and I check, so I'm going to line up the decimals. 8 minus 0 is 8. 0 minus 6 I can't do, so I'm going to borrow and regroup. 10 minus 6 is 4. 1 minus 0 is 1. I got 1.48. Matches what I got over here. That tells me we are correct. Okay, this next one. 2 equals g minus 1 1/3. Okay, first thing, identify your variable. G is the variable. I want to get it by itself, so I'm going to use inverse operations. We minus, so I'm going to add that back to make it go away. That gives me 0, it's gone, leaves me G all by itself. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now, this one's going to be easy because this is a whole number. I have 2 whole numbers plus 1 whole and 1/3. 2 plus 1 would give me 3 whole units, so I got 3 and 1/3 for G. Oh, I'm going to circle this over here because we decided that was correct. So over here, let's check our answer. 2 equals 3 and 1/3 minus 1 and 1/3. If I want to, just to make sure, I'm going to make these improper. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so 10/3 minus 4/3. 10 minus 4 is 6. I get 6/3, which is the same as 2, or I could have just done 3 minus 1 gives me 2, and 1/3 minus 1/3 gives me 0 pieces. Either way, I still got 2 on both sides of the equation. So I know that this is correct. Alright, down here, I want you to look at a real life situation and think about how you can use equations to solve it. It says define a variable, write an equation, and solve. Ariel had some money. She earned $14.56. Now she has $25.32. Okay, variable, what's the thing you don't know here? We don't know how much money she had to begin with, so I'm going to use M for money started with. Okay. Equation. She had some money. M. She earned. What happens if you earn money? You're adding. So we're going to add $14.56, and we know that she ended up with a total of $25.32. There's my equation. So how do I solve it? Well, I'm going to go backwards. I have to minus off what she earned. That would give me 0. So that gives me M by itself. But I have to subtract $14.56 off of this to figure it out. 2 minus 6 I can't do, so I'm going to borrow. That makes that a 2. 12 minus 6 is 6. 2 minus 5 can't do, so I'm going to borrow and regroup. 12 minus 5 is 7. Decimal point. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 2 minus 1 is 1. I think she had $10.76. How do I make sure that that is the correct answer? I plug it back in to make sure. So M plus, so $10.76 plus $14.56. If I stack that, that'll be easier on us. But we want it to equal $25.32. Checking my work. 6 plus 6 is 12. Regroup 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Regroup 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Don't forget the decimal place. Point. And 1 plus 1 is 2. That matches that. That tells me I am correct. So my solution is M equals $10.76. Alright, now over here it says write a story that can be represented by the equation 15 equals F plus 6. You need to do that on your own. I'm not doing it for you. Once you're done, rate yourself on this concept 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Take a picture and turn it in on Google Classroom.